Welcome to the Lounge by Travify. I'm Stephanie Grice, and this is episode 2 of our sales workshop series, where we're diving into the full sales process, from finding clients to growing lasting relationships. And in case you missed our first episode, definitely go back and check that out, because we kicked things off with an amazing conversation about building your sales confidence and setting the right foundation. Now, today, we are focusing on one of the biggest challenges for so many advisors, and that's marketing and finding new clients. Like, how do you get the leads? How do you attract the right people to your business? And how do you make sure your marketing efforts actually work for you? To help break it all down, I'm joined by travel advisor and business strategist, Roslyn Ranse. So welcome to the lounge, Roz. We are so excited to have you back with us. And just got to say, highlight, she has been on other webinars before. So if you haven't watched those before, you really need to, because this is going to be awesome. She is amazing. And thank you for joining us here today.
Thank you so much for having me, Steph. I love the Travify community, and as a Travify user myself, but also in my, luxury travel business, I use it for travel agent achievers, so my coaching and mentoring programs. I absolutely love what you guys do, so I'm all in. And this topic, when you and I were talking about it, I'm like, yes, we can do this and we can talk about it together. The problem is going to be time. So we have spoken about doing a little bit of rapid fire. So everybody buckle up and get ready.
Buckle in.
Yeah, that's it. We're ready to go. This is going to be awesome.
It is going to be really good. And yeah, we could really be here for a while. So we tried to break this down as best as we could here into a few topics. So we'll talk marketing, getting new leads, being consistent, but then also so many tips. So are you ready, Roz? I'm going to dive in here.
Let's go for it.
Yes. Okay, so here we go. So the first one we did a recent Travify community poll where I was kind of trying to get some feelers out there, seeing what, advisors are really struggling with today. And a lot of advisors were saying, I can close most of my leads, but I barely get any. So why is getting leads so hard for travel pros sometimes?
Whew, big question. And there are so many ways that we can tackle this, but I really think to start with, a lot of it is mindset. So sales can be a really scary topic for a lot of people, especially if you haven't done it before. And most travel professionals, this is very broad, but most travel professionals follow with their heart. They lead with their heart. They are service oriented, so they like to take care of people. They have a lot of empathy and are very patient, mostly. And what I find is that when you say the word sales to a travel consultant or travel professional, travel business owner, they get a little bit scared. And so the reason why they may not get leads is initially that one thing, that one hurdle of sales, because there are how many billions of people do you reckon live on this planet now, Steph? I mean,
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure that I would,
6, 7? Is
I
that, or is
would
that
say like
not even?
30 billion. I don't know.
Yeah,
like,
it might even be a lot.
there's a lot of people that live on this planet. The reality is, as a travel advisor, how many people do you need to attract and take care of each year in order to be happy with your own sales goals, right? Is that 10 people that might be booking, $5,000 trips? Or is it 10 people that are booking $50,000 or $100,000 trips? Is it 300 people? Everybody is different. And there are so many people who live on this planet that you just need to choose who it is that you want to work with and who speaks to you. Because reality, and from a lot of reports that I've recently been reading and understanding, speaking to the media about, is that travel is still booming. And there is still so much wealth around. The next generation, the generations coming through now, are going to be given a lot of money, generational wealth passed down from the boomers to the X's down. And every generation is slightly different with how they are spending their money, but everybody is still looking to travel. So the big question is, how do we attract them? And what I find is most often, when it comes to sales, it's the sales talk that everybody gets scared about. But advisors often will focus just on selling the trip, not marketing value. And for me, it comes down to value. It comes down to what's in it for them. Because as the advisor, yes, you do a lot of research, you understand your product, you know what you want to deliver, and you get really excited about it. But what's in it for the consumer? What is in it for that end person? Because they're the ones that you want to attract. You want to give that. So the other thing is that many advisors rely only on word of mouth, but they haven't necessarily built the systems to attract new people as well, and that comes through marketing. And for me, when I first started my travel business, and this is now 17 years ago plus, I started with family and friends. Do I book my family and friends now? Yes, I still have some friends. I've made new friends, but my family very, very rarely. Maybe my mum. Because she knows that I've got her back. I will always take care of her. Anybody else in my family? No, they can just be pains. I love them to death, but they would be great for somebody else as another consultant, not necessarily for me. But we all have to start somewhere. And marketing, and I believe lead generation and getting people into your business is about that value, but it's also about visibility and trust. It's not luck to get, new clients in. And some people will be like, oh my God, I don't even know how I got these people. I can guarantee if you ask them questions, you'll be able to find out where they heard about you from. So there are a lot of big problems here, and I know that we're not going to be able to tackle them all today, but when it comes to getting new clients, it really comes back to marketing, visibility, trust, and then making sure that you are delivering value to that end user.
Oh, it's such a good thing to remember that I love the fact how you reframe it where it's not that you're trying to sell these trips because that's what we think immediately is this destination, this trip. It's the value.
Yeah.
And that's so important. So I love that. Now, another question here for you is because a lot of times, advisors hear marketing and you're immediately going to think of ads, logos, brandings, posting a ton on social media. How do you simplify all of that? And what's the real purpose? I mean, you've kind of already said it, but a little bit of the real purpose of marketing for a travel advisor.
So marketing, super simple. It's communicating what you do, who you serve. So who are you going to book? Who do you take care of? And why does it matter? Three things. Communicate what you do, who do you serve, and why does it matter? And I like to think of this over connection. A big thing that's come out over the last couple of years, and I almost joked about it at a massive conference a couple of years ago when the terminology human connection came out. And it was like, oh yeah, we're all connected. And it was a bit of a joke. Now I look at it and think now more than ever, people want to be seen, they want to be heard, and they want to build real relationships. So it's in that connection and human connection. No, it's not just about the text messages and the emails anymore. It's about actually providing that value and building real relationships with people. That is something that AI cannot take away from us. And that's something to think about as we move forward is who are you? Who do you serve? Why does it matter to them? It's not necessarily about the logos and the fonts. It's about showing people that you understand them, that you are prepared to take care of their needs. So I want clients to think of everybody that's listening to this podcast, and I want you to have a goal for your clients to keep at the top of the mind, your business, what is it that you give them? What is that value? Hmm. Yeah.
Oh, I like that. And I was actually just going to ask you that is a little homework here is an actionable tip ideas. What is one marketing thing each week that someone could do or come back to, and maybe that's what that is.
Yeah, it's that human connection. So be really intentional when you're asking for referrals, but make it super easy as well. I don't like coming off, or you walk into a barbecue and somebody's like, "Oh, what do you do?" And you say, "I book travel. If you want to book travel, come to me." Like that to me, it feels really icky and awkward and a little bit weird in my style. I much prefer me as a human to have deeper conversations with people than surface level. So if you see me at a conference, come and have a chat with me. I love to be able to talk about business, talk about life, and get to know people because it's what makes people tick that you actually can then understand and provide real value to them. But asking for referrals intentionally. Making it super easy. So you can be at a barbecue and you're talking about something. Tell a story. Tell a story about, oh, Fred's just here and recently went on a cruise. They had an amazing time. Yes, I was their travel advisor that booked it for them. If you know anybody else that's thinking of traveling, I'm here and happy to help them. Just go and talk to Fred about what he experienced while working with me, right? It's conversational. It's a bit of story in there, but asking for referrals really intentionally makes it a lot easier and takes the stress off. I used to have a tagline on my email signature that said, "Your referral is the greatest compliment." And I had it on there for years and years and years. It was very subtle, but it also just showcased that, hey, if you have other people in your network, because I only like working with a certain type of people. And Steph, if you need to bleep this out, go for it. But I have a no dickhead policy.
Oh, nope, that's
Right.
great.
And so for me, I love working with the people that are going to be reciprocal to me and who I am, right? You got to dive into who it is that you like to work with. But I also make sure that the people that I work with have the same values that I do, that are, of similar mindset, that like similar things, because you don't need the 50 billion people out there. You just need a certain amount of clients that are going to be very similar to what you like to take care of. So asking for referrals intentionally, that's one way that I believe that, you can all get new leads right now. Leveraging your past clients. So a
Mhm.
repeat style business. Ask those clients when they get back from a trip, "I'm so excited." You've got to be invested in them, right? Steph, when you last went on a trip, you came home. Let's talk about your trip to Europe, right? I know you
Yeah.
loved it. You came
Oh,
home
yeah.
from that trip. Did you call your family and get really excited about the things that you did? Were they excited with you, or a girlfriend or a group of friends and they were really excited? Or was there anybody that was like, "Oh, yeah, okay, cool. Well, what are you up to this weekend?"
Yeah, a little bit of both, honestly, but it was very easy. I could have been a very easy walking billboard for people who want to listen to me talk about it. Like,
Totally, and that's where
yeah.
the travel advisor comes in, right? We are usually that one that is so invested in that client's trip. We're super excited for them. We love that they're going on it. We wanna hear those stories, leverage those past clients, understanding those clients and what they want to do and what their bucket list trips are. That is gold because you can ask them, "Okay, so you've now returned from the Galapagos. What's the next thing? You love adventure. You really haven't been to other places. Well, maybe you should go to Micronesia. It's a little bit out of the way, but have you ever thought of scuba diving in Truck Lagoon or see all the World War II sites? You can dive into different things with them and inspire them and get excited with them. That's what people will buy into, how invested you are with them. So that's that. The third thing here is to collaborate locally or online, right? You can collaborate with wedding planners, photographers, gyms, schools, community groups. I've got people in, fantastic advisors that are part of my masterminds that have excellent niches like knitting and weaving and pickleball and things that I initially was like, what? Communities love to come together. I was just talking yesterday to an advisor on one of our accountability calls, and she recently went into an over 55s village and sat down and had like a morning tea with people. This was last month, and there were 10 people that came. Like, that's 10 people that you wouldn't normally speak to otherwise, right? 10 people, amazing. And she walked away and she was like, oh, I don't, it wasn't that many people. I'm like, that is 10 new people that you did not have any connection with previously. If every one of those 10 people, or even if 50% of them book with you, wow, that has made a huge difference to your top line and bottom line as well. So she went back only this week. And when I spoke to her yesterday, she said, my gosh, Roz, I went in and somebody came to me. They've already started a travel club at this over 55s village. They've got 50 people on there on a spreadsheet. She gave it to me and I was like, wow. But the thing is, she provided value. Right? She didn't go in and say, here, come on my Viking cruise or come on this Riverside cruise or anything like that. She went in providing value as the knowledgeable expert because that's who she is. She is that expert. And as anybody listening to this, as a travel professional, you are the expert. This is what you do. You understand the geography, the suppliers, the destination, all of the things, and you can use the technology to help consumers travel. So those are my three things. I don't want to get on a rant anymore. We need to keep moving. What do you think?
Oh, I love it. I love it. Those are 3 really great things. I also want to throw in a little bit of a Travify tip here is use the CRM to keep track and notes of those people. So then that way you can come back and you can make a task for yourself, like follow up after the trip.
How
So
good is
you should do that.
automation there? Absolutely.
I
And
know.
using Travify is an excellent platform to then set yourself reminders too. So if
Mhm.
somebody is celebrating a birthday, if they are having 12 months out from their trip, set yourself a reminder, set yourself a task so that you can come back to it because often we forget or we've written it down somewhere and it's gone. But setting those reminders and tasks, absolute gold. And you are then the genius that's remembered that it's 12 months since they returned from the Galapagos.
See, it's be and I love it.
Work
And I love it
smarter,
because
smarter, not harder.
yeah, exactly. Well, and the thing that I love about it is it's human connection, but so it is at the end of the day, because a lot of times, AI, automation, we cannot, again, human, you can't replace it, but it's going to help assist you a little bit to keep that human connection going now that we have that. And so
We
create a
don't
task for
have time.
yourself.
We don't have time now. What is the most important thing that you can do in your business? It is connecting with people. It is making new friendships, building relationships. That is one of the key components. But what I see advisors get stuck in so much is the admin, the task list, the to-do list, and
Yeah.
all the things that they then go, you know what, why am I doing all of that? I really want to spend more time with my clients. I want to understand them that little bit more. So use the technology, but still remain with that human connection.
Yes. Well, now another question for you here, kind of going off of this, says if an advisor has only 1 hour per week for, and I'm putting this in quotations if you're just listening to us, marketing, how should they spend it? And I'm saying that because maybe the answer might be like it's actually having conversations with people and that's your marketing. So, what would you say? If you had an hour to spend, how would you spend that?
Oh, if I had an hour to spend on my marketing each week, I would actually spend it on planning and organizing though. So,
Nice. Yep.
that one thing because I can weave in conversations when I'm in the car to pick up my 11-year-old son from school. I can call a client in that 20 minutes and have a chit chat and catch up. If I'm traveling to or from an event, I can be sending messages to people or catching up with them. I use my time very well. But if I had 1 hour a week just to focus on marketing, I'd probably spend it preparing an EDM, so direct mail piece or a marketing email out to people. I'd probably spend it on preparing some social media posts that speak to my direct audience or something that I'm really excited or passionate about or I've heard about. I would spend maybe 20 minutes of that. So 20 minutes writing or preparing something. I'd spend another 20 minutes just engaging with clients or followers online if you prefer to work online to comment, reply, not be a lurker, but to start conversations. And then I would be preparing for next week's task. What are the things that I never need to do next week so that I'm not starting from scratch? I find that if as an advisor, you walk in on a Monday morning and you pull out your notebook and you're then like, okay, what are all the things? You're racking your brain with, well, what happened last week? Were there things that came up over the weekend? So I'll prepare the week before and say, these are some of the big tasks that I really want to get done. These are my goals. We have a team meeting on Monday morning. It's like, these are the things for the week. And then on a Friday morning, we catch up and go, how's it going? What's some of the last minute things? Are we stuck anywhere? And, let's move on to the next week. So
Oh,
it's not about doing everything. I just think it's consistency at the end of the day.
Yep, that's a great tip. It's just checking in, staying aligned with yourself. Now I want to go back something you said about like sending out mail and things like that. And I actually saw an advisor in our Facebook community
Mm.
say this question, and I want to know your response to it. Is they said, I send travel specials and mass emails, but I don't get responses. What should this advisor change about how they communicate offers?
Ooh, I send travel specials. So if this is done online, right? That you're sending you're posting about a special that's just come out, or a massive email, and you like it's Wave Week, or there's some big deal out and you want to send a special, and your listeners or your email subscribers are not responding to you. Two things. The issue, it's about you. It's not about your consumer. It's not about the end user. It's because you haven't provided the value. You might be just posting specials all the time, and that's what you'll become known as. And as a travel professional or a travel advisor, I take this industry very seriously. For me, it's a business, but it is also something that I am incredibly passionate about. I want to bring the next generation into the industry. I want to see those that are in it now imparting their knowledge to build up, incredible advisors for the future. But I think that we can get caught up in the here's a special, here's a special, here's a special. That doesn't make it about the end user or the person on social media that's seeing those posts. They'll just scroll straight past it. It might keep you aware, like in their mind, for brand awareness, but you're really making it about you. Like, here's a sale, here's a sale, here's a sale. The value behind that could be, you know, again, I'll come back to cruising. Here's a packing list. I recently went on so and so cruise, and the three things that I found super value were this, this, and this. By the way, there's this new deal that's come out, and I'd love to be able to help you get on board. So, changing the way that you actually communicate that message to your consumers makes a big, big deal here. So, I would say change it up. What's in it for them? Keep thinking that. What's in it for them? What's in it for them? What's in it for them? The other thing is also to segment your list. So we were talking about this as well, Steph, in the CRM that Travify is putting out. You can actually tag people. So add a tag to them and segment them and say, this is for all of my family clients. These are for my cruise clients. This is for a specific group. They are couples. And then, look at that list and say, I'm only going to send this special or deal along with some value to these particular clients because that's what they like to book. Uh, and then personalize your subject lines. Change it up. Use AI as a tool to support you. You do have to, feed AI a little bit more information these days, but come up with ideas. Put a great subject line into AI and say, hey, I'm talking about this experience. Here's a trip that I recently did on my blog. Can you give me 10 suggestions of a subject line? Change it up. Give something new to clients that you don't have to think about, and we get so caught up in it. And this is the other thing. We get caught up in that it's not good enough. People aren't responding, so I'm not going to do it. And then they just disappear. And they just like, okay, well, I'm not going to do it then. If nobody's having a look at it, change it up. It's not about you. It's not about those vanity metrics. It's about having conversations.
Yeah. Do you happen to do you have an example of one that you've done recently where the subject line was you were like, "Oh,
I
that was good."
I do track, I test, and I measure. Look, there's so many that, I couldn't give you an exact example right now, but test it out, right? Ask AI, give me 10 different ideas. Test one out there and say you want to provide value. Your email subject line could be as simple as, I've just returned from Fiji. These are my top 3 tips.
I would open that.
Yeah. Well, I know you wanna go to Fiji, right? Yeah.
Yeah, of course. I know,
But
and
you're pigmented to go, "Cool, I'm gonna open that. I wanna know what I need to do when I go to Fiji." Some people won't, but it doesn't matter. You're still keeping top of mind because you're providing value.
I that's so interesting because it's making me think about how because I mean, our email inboxes are crazy
Yeah.
full anymore, and it is funny that now that you're saying that, I do immediately open the stuff that seems very personal or even if it has my name in it, that's a good
Oh,
one.
yeah, that's a
That'll get
game
me.
changer, right? That's personalized. Yeah,
Yeah,
and
I'm like,
make
"Wait, me?"
it a story, right? Make it a
Mhm.
story. If you've got clients that were recently in Fiji, you could say, in that first section to get people to be curious, when Stephanie came back from Fiji, her husband didn't wanna leave the bar, dot, 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 right? And then it's relatable. People are like, "What? Why did Steph go to Fiji and why did her husband wanna leave the bar?" Right? Or it could be something like when Roz went to Fiji, her kids didn't wanna leave the kids club. Here's why. And then I can talk about things from a story and say, in Fiji, the nannies are amazing. They like your, family. They love kids. They do all of these things. Jackson didn't want to leave the kids club for this, and this is why it's such a great destination for families. Right. Then you could put a special at the bottom. Hey, I've been working with the Shangri-La Yanutha Resort in Fiji, and they've got an incredible deal out. They have all of these extra family, facilities. Here's the offer, right? Fly with Fiji Airways and blah, 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 package it all up, whatever it is, but tell the story. And that's another big part of marketing that I think a lot of people are missing or they just don't understand is storytelling. And as advisors, I heard this terminology. What do you think of this, Steph? Somebody said in the last couple of weeks, we are not any longer travel advisors or travel agents. We are travel influencers. And I'm like, I
Oh.
do not have 50,000 people following my posts on social media. That is not who I am. But what does that first connotation like mean to you? A travel influencer.
Like, I think of social media.
You think that it's a social media thing? Okay. So as a travel professional, because I thought the same thing, right?
Yeah.
And then I had this deeper conversation with this lady, and she's like, well, no, you influence people's travels. Right? As a storyteller and as somebody in marketing, your role is to be talking about a destination, a supplier, a service, different places you're experiencing from your own opinion and what you've done. You are influencing people's travel experiences. So, travel influencer. And I'm like, oh, that's
I like
gold. Let's see if
No,
that takes off.
I like that. Well, and honestly, I was almost thinking because we joke about it too. We're like, "Oh, you influenced me." Like, I'll say like, "Oh, Bonnie, you influenced me to get this because I see her using it or something," or
True, right?
and yeah.
Yeah,
So
beauty,
you are
right?
perfect. Yep.
Marketing.
Uh-huh.
You do it because somebody
Makes
else does
sense.
it. So we're influencing decision makers, but we're telling the story. We're communicating with people. We are having that human connection. And so if you're not getting people buy through your social media, change it up. Just test it. Just test it, right? Yeah.
Mhm. And actually, speaking of testing, I wanted to ask you this too because I know a lot of advisors will or no, I'm going to say travel influencers said I'm going to start using it now everybody. So you are whether you believe it or not, you are now. That's what you are.
Yeah. Okay.
I know. So good. But what would be okay, so when you're looking at your results, so take for example, the changing your subject lines and how you track them and you know what works. So what is a realistic expectation for seeing those results and how long should advisors give a marketing effort before deciding it's working or not? Because I know that is the thing with marketing. It can be really easy to give up and sometimes you should move quickly and just experiment. So what
Mm.
would you say to that?
Yeah. Was it Apple, Steve Jobs that said, move fast and break things?
Yes, I actually
Right.
really like that quote.
Something
Mhm.
something around those lines. And I'm
Yeah.
not speaking verbatim here, but I think when it comes to marketing is momentum based. Everything compounds. So take yourself back into primary school or high school or middle school and remember when we learnt about compounding interest, right? As a finance terminology. It all banks up. So marketing, I believe, is very similar. It's momentum based. It compounds. And if you're going to be trying something new, Give it 90 days, give it 3 months to start seeing any sort of traction. Now, in the industry, I look at 3 months and I go, oh my gosh, that is so long because so much can happen. But we're doing all of our work right now, planning for next year in our travel business. And I'm working with other advisors on that as well. And when we look at it, it's like, let's think of the year in 3 different or 4 different blocks, 90 days at a time. What are the projects that you can accomplish in that 90 days? And there is a lot, trust me, there's a lot you can do over a 1 year period, but it's not going to make or break. If you test something and you measure it, and then you get to that end of the 90 days and you're like, oh, it's starting to get traction. I can see all of these things. You have to measure it. You have to track your results. Have a look at how many, if it's social media as an example. So, how many followers do you have at the beginning of January? Then try something new, test it out, send out your social media from a human connection point of view and the value that you provide. Change those things up and test it every month. Okay, how many followers do I have now? How has my engagement gone? How is, DMs and direct messages? Have I received bookings through messages or people commenting on things or clicking on something? What are the statistics that you can then track? And over those 3 months, the momentum will build that you'll then be able to go, that is working. Okay, I will continue to do that. And it doesn't have to be a lot because you're planting seeds at the end of the day, right? For any gardeners out there, some things will bloom next week. Others, it's going to take 12 months, right? And marketing is something that, yes, you need to track and measure. Steph, you and I talk about ROIs all the time and the data. And I love that about you, that we can have those conversations because that's really important as a business owner. But it is momentum. Just trying something new, stick with it. Like if it doesn't work for a keep going. If it is that you're doing one post a week, test it. It's one post. It's not going to make or break. And always think, what is the worst thing that can happen? The absolute worst. I mean, my sister's a psychologist, and I remember her telling me, this is 20 years ago when I worked in corporate. I was the director of sales and marketing for international organizations. And she called me one night, and it must have been about 10 o'clock at night. I was still in the office. I'd ordered Domino's pizza so that I could just have something to eat whilst I was there. It wasn't Uber back then. I actually had to go downstairs and, get it. It was a takeaway delivery order. But I, I remember her saying to me, what are you doing in the office? And I said, oh, I've got all these emails and I've got a campaign that I've got to put out. I need to get ahead of my team tomorrow. And she said, is anyone going to die if you do not send that email?
Yeah.
If you do not post on social media tomorrow? And I was like, no. And she said, in my role, Roz, if I do not answer that phone on a crisis call, yes, there could be huge consequences. I want you to remember, what is the worst thing that can possibly happen? And the reality is, if you do not post once, in a week or once in a month for even, the worst thing that can happen is the phone may not ring. Somebody might not send you an email. That is the worst thing that can happen. Now, if that is really terrible to you, then get backed in that corner, come out and just go, you know what? I'm going to make this happen. I'm going to get over the procrastination. I'm going to get over the fear. I'm going to feel the fear and do it anyway. So marketing is momentum based, 90 days at a minimum, and you're planting the seeds. Just remember that. You're planting the seeds. Everything grows. If you water it, you nurture it, you take care of it, it will grow.
Oh, I love it. It's so good because it's so quick and easy to overanalyze everything, especially when it comes to marketing because you're putting yourself out there. That's what it is.
Exactly.
And
And
so, yeah,
visibility is scary.
yeah.
Yeah. I still have people that I've worked with for the last 5 years. They're like, I do not want to be on video. I do not want to do a video. I do not want to do a live. I don't want to do any of those sorts of things. The biggest hurdle is ourselves. And when it comes to visibility, here's another reality check. You may not be happy with what you feel like you look on camera. The reality is you go out for coffee with your mates all the time and they see you exactly as they are. right?
Yep.
It's the same thing. Like, I love being able to see you on cameras, Steph. I love being able to see Bonnie. I love to be able to see Scott and all the Travelify family. I'm like, oh, hi guys. It's like we're catching up. But I
I
am
know.
sure that there have been times in your life that I'm like, oh my God, I am not going live today. I've got a pimple. I've got dark circles under my eyes. I feel like I'm getting more wrinkles. I've put on a little bit more weight than what I used to have. Like, we go through all of that sort of stuff because we're so judgmental. But visibility is key.
It 100% is. That's such a good point that literally people see you even when you're out and about. So what's the difference?
Yeah.
And also, I will say again, human connection, it brings it together because you're all the way in Australia. You're in the future right now. We love this joke. She's
Love
in the
it.
future right now, and I'm a day behind because she's in Australia. Like, how amazing that we can do
Yeah,
this. Isn't that insane when you
exactly.
think about it? Like,
It's
amazing.
insane, and it is so amazing that we can do this. Like, I grabbed a coffee before we jumped on this call today, and over at my cafe, and I walked past 3 people that I knew, right? And it was 6:30 in the morning, and they're like, "Oh my gosh, Roz, you look great." And I said, "I know, from the top up. I've done my hair, I've got my makeup on, I've got my shirt on." And they're like, "Yeah, but Roz, you're in your Lorna Jane, workout pants here and your slides." I'm like, "Yeah, I know, but I'm still showing up." Right? And they just
Still
laughed at
showing
me,
up.
and they see me exactly as I am. And this is a message for everybody. Your clients, your friends, your family, anybody that is booking with you, they see you. So visibility is crucial, deliver value, and keep that momentum going.
Well, I think you just answered one of my final questions here is I was going to ask like for someone listening who's just discouraged by I mean it's tough, especially new to the industry, especially too. What's your pep talk? How do they keep showing up even when it feels like no one's noticing? I feel like you just answered it, but what would you say?
I say to anybody that's in my community, I will believe in you until you believe in yourself. It's one of my biggest things because often we have to get over ourselves in order to get out there in marketing. It's a really big deal. But for everybody that's listening, don't obsess over the followers. I want you to focus on the relationships that'll in turn lead to revenue. So focus on the relationships that will lead to revenue. Everybody starts with quiet weeks, Steph. Your worth and who you are as a travel professional is not measured by inbox replies. End of the day, right? Don't get stuck in that email. Get out and build those human connection pieces. Like, talk to people, get to know people, understand, listen. And a big thing in sales is to listen. And I know that those are conversations, Steph, that you're going to have. One of my good friends, Nick O'Sullivan, she's all about that, and she listens in on sales calls, and she's like, "Oh my God, that advisor's not even listening. They're not listening, and they're not understanding. They're not asking the questions. They're becoming an order taker." So there's a whole lot of things that go along with that from a sales perspective. Focus on progress is another thing that I say. It's about progress, not perfection. And one of my mentors told me this. I even got a t-shirt with it from him. And he's like, "Focus on progress, not perfection, Ros," because I am a perfectionist. I want it all to be great. I want to deliver the most value. I want it to be amazing. But every post that you do, every email that you send is going to build your visibility bank. So from marketing, remember, it's that visibility, it's the value. The other thing that I say is you're not behind, you're building something sustainable. So a lot of advisors will also compare themselves, and comparisonitis, I don't even know whether that's a word, but I use it.
I get it.
Comparisonitis,
I understand.
that can be an absolute killer. If you open social media and you look at another travel professional's post and you're like, "Oh my gosh, they're absolutely killing it, so I'm not even going to bother," right? Remember, who is your audience? Do you need 5 billion people, 50 billion people? No. It's the 100, it's the 200 people that over time you can really establish relationships with. So human connection, for anybody that's discouraged right now, I really want you just to be remembering that, and that you are unique. You're human, right? We all make mistakes, but you're human, and people want that connection. So get out there and give it a go.
Yeah. Oh, what a great pep talk. I love that. And one more thing. So I always love because I like this up for myself when I'm listening to podcasts. Like, what is one small thing? I'm gonna say small, so nothing crazy. a thing that they could do this week just to start moving the needle on new leads, what should that one thing be?
Send the email, make the phone call, organize a coffee catch up.
Nice. So do
Reach out to
something.
one person, do something, and that is it. So if anybody is listening to this podcast today, whether it's in the morning, whether it's in the afternoon, whether it's in the evening, I want you to finish the podcast, or even right now as we're finishing up, and I want you to just to think, who is that one person that I can organize a conversation with or a catch up with, and make it happen. Just send that message. The worst thing that they can say is, I'm busy or I can't, right? Yes or no, but send that one thing. Yeah.
Oh,
Personally.
beautiful.
Personally. I'm not saying send
Yeah.
an EDM to everybody and go, hey, let's catch up and I'm going to put on this massive marketing event and we're going to have morning tea. No, it's that one. Let's build that human connection again.
Mm-hmm. That sounds like good homework to me. I like it. And Ross, thank you so oh man, always so amazing when you join us. But for those listening, how can they find you online? Cuz I know you have your own podcast as well.
I do. So not only am I a travel advisor as well, and as I said, been doing this a long time, I also coach and mentor travel professionals in the industry based around 4 different topics: marketing, sales, operations, systems and processes, and of course, dealing with clients and building that relationship, how to get clients in, how to actually work with them and understand them. So Travel Agent Achievers is the podcast. TravelAgentAchievers.com is the website. And of course, as always, I'm going to compile some resources specific to this podcast on a special landing page, which is TravelAgentAchievers.com/Travify. Just for you, Steph,
Oh,
and all of your listeners, to make sure that you guys can be doing these little things. Give you some free resources to get started. But I'd love to see you, whether it's in person at a conference. Come and say hi, or reach out and let me know. Do you need a hand with any of these things? Join the mastermind. It's a lot of fun. Great advisors from all over the world. We have collaboration over competition. We're all in. Let's do this.
I love it. Oh my gosh, did you hear that? We just hit the jackpot, everybody. She's giving us some resources. Oh, I love that. And I will be sure, I will put that in the show notes so everyone can go find that. Oh, so amazing. And this is just episode 2 of a 4-part series. This is, I mean, I'm blown away, and I hope that everyone else listening is too. And I just want to thank everyone for tuning into the Lounge by Travify, this series. And if you haven't, again, listened to that first episode yet of the Sales Workshop series, go back, check it out. And also be sure to subscribe so you don't miss the next episodes coming soon, where we're going to continue building on the sales process with even more actionable insights. So if you found today's episode helpful, share it with another advisor who's wanting to grow their business too. And don't forget, you can always catch the Lounge by Travify wherever you listen to your podcasts. So thank you again for joining us, and stay safe, and we'll catch you on the next flight.